Hello and welcome. In this media, we are going to look at our lit review, and it's going to be put in the form of a wiki, and we've basically organized it into several chunks. We're going to look at the case studies and teacher testimonials. We'll look at a quiz after this video, so you need to pay attention. We're going to look at examples and look at the literature review, look at the references and handouts, and kind of policies, procedures, suggestions, sample lesson plans, professional development, and different ways of assessment. And I'm going to use Typeform for a survey, and we use VoiceThread so that it's an interactive discussion when you go to your gallery walk for the feedback for us. Now, basically, we have a driving question, and that driving question could not be more important today than at any other time in the history of our country, because for the last 100+ years, we have been teaching in an industrial style, teacher-centered, lecture from the podium kind of method, and today's digital learners are just simply not engaged. They don't care what we have to say. They don't listen. The buy-in is very low, and if you can imagine just for a moment what it would be like if they were fully engaged, if they had complete buy-in of what they were doing, the work would be phenomenal. And we tend to think that we're kind of selling our kids short, and so I want to show you this Prezi right here. It starts out kind of as a journey. Project-based learning involves getting students to become active participants in their learning, and that really couldn't be more true. If they're engaged, if they have a choice and a voice, then they are going to want to do things more so than if you're directing them more like a dictator. You want to be more of a facilitator and less of a teacher. Now, in order to do that, that's easier said than done, because in reality, we are not used to teaching that way. The way that we're used to teaching just doesn't work anymore, and businesses keep telling us that the project-based learning is the way to go, and that the way that we're doing it now, we're just simply not preparing our students to enter the workforce or to enter college. And when that happens, it is tragic, because we think we tend to leave our kids a little bit short. But as you can see right here, if kids are engaged and they're making choices, then the learning is going to be deeper and more rich. It's not teaching to the test. It's not teaching rote memory and recall, because that has no context. If you put it in an authentic learning style where what you're doing has relevance to the outside world, especially at the high school level, then they're going to commit to it more, because they know that it has importance beyond the walls of your classroom. Now, in reality, the change is rather uncomfortable, especially for core teachers. And I say especially for core teachers because electives teachers or CTE or curriculum tech ed teachers have been doing this all along. That's the nature of what we do. It's all hands-on, and it's all career-driven and career-related. But understandably, to teach math or chemistry or something like that, language arts, that's difficult to somehow find a way to get the kids to buy in. But the solution is rather simple, but actually carrying out is a little bit more difficult. It's going to take more than just the coordinators or facilitators or workshops or staff developments to get this done. It takes a lot of action research as well as a lot of other tools. You just don't have a whiteboard in your classroom or a few clickers and you call that technology. Kids really don't care about that. PowerPoints, that's old news. Now, what they want and what gets done in the way that businesses are working are what our digital natives, our Generation Y, the millennial generation, is already doing. I mean, they've been immersed in it from the day that they've been born, and they're just saturated with media and stimulation all over the place. So they know how to communicate and collaborate and author and produce, and those are things that we simply did not have access to. So we do have one foot stuck in the past and one foot in the future, but through active research and through a willingness and a desire to change from being a leader and willing to let go and kind of step aside and let students make choices and allow them to make mistakes without the fear of retribution, that would be a good start. Now, we really, maybe subconsciously, but we've chosen not to listen. It's really as simple as that. And a lot of that, if not all of that, has to do with state-mandated testing and high-stakes testing. And really, it's providing our kids with being unprepared for the workforce. Here is a really good video on the technology that is ahead. So let me play that. I think that's telling when you look at that and listen to that video. it's really sad to see teachers and to hear teachers kind of stuck in the past, almost like that Ferris Bueller's Day Off kind of mentality, or Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I mean, this is serious business, and we're not going to stop the kids from having cell phones. We're not going to stop them from having headphones. They already social network better than anybody else. They multitask fairly well. They are able to communicate information in a way that's uncomfortable for us. So that's one big reason that we don't like it. And the statistics are right there. At the beginning of this video, it talked about the consumer and the consumer making decisions. Now you wait until the next big revolution, which is in the area of being a consumer manufacturer, where you're going to be able to 3D print pretty much everything off of the computer, but you have the ability to make the decisions as to what size and shape and color. And you know, just like the internet started a revolution and web browsers started a revolution, and now all this podcasting and everything that students listen to and do, they want interactivity and they want immediate feedback, and it just simply does not happen with the standard pedagogy that we use today when we teach. So where does this all lead to? Well, this may sound drastic, but it is what it is. But we need to get rid of the pencil and paper approaches and textbooks and all those things, and we need to move to where everything is digital. You should be able to put something up in a Dropbox, and the students should be able to get it out of the Dropbox. The students should be able to post something on a discussion board, and you should be able to provide feedback at any time during the day or after school hours. It should be transparent. The parents should be able to see what the students are doing. All that technology currently exists, and we as teachers don't use it that much. We think we do. You know, we send a few emails and we maybe have a whiteboard and a projector, but that's not what the kids care about. In a recent survey that I did, I was stunned at the results when I asked the students, was it the technology or the learning style that was the most important to them? 100% of the class said it was the learning style and not the technology that was important. That really speaks volumes right there. Now let me show you this video in conclusion, and this is the direction that we're heading, especially as a global workforce. And we do need to get our kids somehow engaged in doing not just the basic reading, writing, and arithmetic, but the higher level thinking skills. And we have to use a lot of different technology tools, Edmodo, Wigio, you know, if we're going to talk about group discussions or different ways to communicate, whether it's instant messaging, text messaging, video tutorials, in addition to podcasting. So there are a lot of different ways that students would rather get the information. If they got it from a textbook, it's pretty much two-dimensional. If they get it from an iPad, it's interactive. They get to click on links. They get to move things around. They get to replay things. They don't get to do that when they hear you talk. And so that's why they just don't listen. So let me play the video here.